Sunderland are through to the playoff final, facing Sheffield United, an unreal last-minute winner at the Stadium of Light.
I said to you, it's such a horrible way to lose it for Coventry, but such a euphoric way to win it for Sunderland. Like the scenes and the noise, it was quite good to see, to be honest with you.
It felt like a proper playoff game today. I know that obviously it is,
yeah.
But there were a lot of moments in the game, especially in the second half, where it started getting a little bit broken up, and there were some tackles flying in. You could see, even outside of the first 15 minutes, Sunderland looked nervous. Yeah, they did. The crowd, obviously the home crowd, does play a part in that. It's like you said, the longer the game goes on, and it's still just as is, like the more nerves will creep into the crowd, and the camera kept panning to them, didn't it? And there were like people that weren't even watching, or like biting the nails and stuff like that. So then that kind of goes through onto the players. Yeah, I was thinking, to be honest, I kind of expected a little bit of a better atmosphere. I know that that's rough to say when your team's under the cosh, and Coventry, credit to them, to be honest. They were fantastic this game. They're so unlucky to be going out, because even in the first leg, it was a mistake that gave Sunderland that winner. Yeah. And then this game, they were by far the better team. Yeah, they definitely had control of the game in its majority, didn't they? But it was a little bit rinse and repeat with just the constant crossing and stuff like that. And I think Sunderland did quite well to deal with the vast majority of it. I mean, the man who got the winner, Ballard, it was just... He was just getting his head on everything that Coventry could put into the box, and obviously they did end up getting one, didn't they? But then for him to go and get the winner just kind of put the cherry on the cake for his performance, didn't it? I kept hearing the commentators talking about how good Coventry are at set pieces. Yeah. But then they just never actually seemed to do anything from them. And as you say, every time they were going forward, it was just going to the wing, get it in, Sunderland defend well, going to the wing, get it in, Sunderland defend well. But Sunderland, that last-minute goal, who was it? The Sunderland centre-back, what was his name? Ballard. The way that he folded like a deck chair to get his head on the end of that. He literally looked like a quaver, the way that he went down, in off the crossbar. Yeah. If you were there, you'd be absolutely losing your mind. It was impressive that he managed to get his body to do that, just to be able to kind of steer the ball back into the right direction. So, yeah, great header, and anything looks better going in off the crossbar as well, doesn't it? And obviously, he got a last-minute goal, so you would probably say... also because of the fact he was fantastic defensively, that he is the man of the match at this point. Yeah. But I do want to give a shout out to Sacramento at Coventry. He was all game, just back and forth. Defensively, he was fantastic. He was putting in good crosses. He was even winning headers while attacking, and he's not exactly a big bloke. No, he just seemed to be everywhere, covered the whole pitch. Really just absolute workhorse, wasn't he? So yeah, you gutted for players that put in performances like that, but at the end of the day, one team's got to lose, and you've got to give Sunderland the flowers. I mean, in the first leg, we've seen the stats, didn't we? I think it was they only strung together 98 passes across 90 minutes. They had 25% possession, but they still went to Coventry's ground and beat them 2-1. I know it came from a mistake at the end, but even without that, it'd have still been a good 1-1 draw, wouldn't it, realistically? It was a similar story today. Sunderland really didn't have that much of the ball up to the last... As I say, the first 15 minutes of the game, and then maybe the second half of extra time, they were fine. They were. But even then, I wouldn't say they were dominating. They weren't creating loads of chances. They were just okay. They just weren't as under the cosh as they had been throughout large portion of that game. But then going into this, obviously I did a predictions video, and I really thought that Coventry were nailed on. Sunderland lost 5 in a row, drew 1 before that, hadn't won for 6 games. What do you think let Coventry down? Because they were on much better form. I don't know, maybe just pattern of play, like you say, it's just hitting wings, getting the ball in, not trying to realistically break through the line centrally. I don't know, just maybe switching it up in that sense, because obviously you play to your strengths. We'd seen how many goals had scored from crosses, 25 times in the season, which was the top in the championship. Second was Leeds with 17. It said on that graphic. So obviously you play to your strengths, but you've got to kind of try and keep the other team guessing to an extent. Because I did think Sunderland, their work without the ball, you can't take anything away from that. It's all good having the ball, but if you're not creating direct opportunities and scoring a couple of the chances that you're trying to create, then what's the point? Sunderland did really well in that regard. I agree. Centrally, kind of, I mean, I think, to be honest, had you right today, really let Coventry down. Obviously, he had that chance in the last couple of minutes, and yeah, it was a decent chance. It's not like a straight out one he definitely should score. Yeah, but could do better with it. He could do better with that, but he also could have done better throughout the entire game. I thought he was kind of a passenger. He didn't seem to do much. I appreciate he's a good player and he's had a good season at Coventry and has been good for a little while now. He just didn't offer anything for me today. Like, going forward, I don't know, there was no Coventry player other than the winger who actually scored, which was Mason Clark. he was the only one that seemed to be taking a player on and actually trying something. I know in the first half he had a shot from the edge of the box as well, whereas the rest of the attackers just didn't seem to like want to push it on Sunderland.
Yeah, I know. Just being a bit more direct in that regard. I'd probably agree with that, yeah.
And then Bellingham, who we've got to talk about because he's called Bellingham. Yeah. I thought he was good today.
Yeah, well, solid. And I think that's one thing you've got to take away from both of these Sunderland performances is it's not always the best to watch when they're on the ball because they've not got it as much, but the work off the ball and the defensive capability is really good, and they'll make it difficult for Sheffield United in the final.
Yeah, I keep seeing a lot about him online because apparently there's some big clubs interested in him, and I think that he's treated a little bit unfairly. I don't think he's a world beater right now. You said it when we were watching the game, but he's still only 19.
Yeah, he's still just 19 years old.
And if he's playing in a semi-final of the playoffs, the pressure's on, and he still puts in a good performance, it proves that he has something about him.
He's a bit of a unit as well. Right now. You see him going toe-to-toe with keeper in first half after he was unhappy about him being on top of him for too long. But he's just like, he's not afraid to put himself about, which is a credit to him, because some younger lads that are playing in the Championship, it's a very physical league. They could maybe crumble, and he obviously holds his own, so he's definitely a prospect.
Enzo Lefebvre. What is it?
Enzo Lefebvre.
Yeah, today he just offered nothing, and it made me look, because when he moved to Sunderland on loan, there was so much hype. People saying he is now the best player in the Championship.
To ever fucking play in the Championship. I know that might have just been Sunderland fans getting carried away, but like I say, I can't really give too much of an opinion on when he has played other than what I've watched recently, but it's not really shown for me.
Well, I'll tell you, in the Championship since he joined, he's had 17 appearances, 2 assists and 1 goal.
Yeah.
Which for me, for a player who everyone said is going to be the best of all time in this league, is a real letdown. And today, I really don't think he offered much. Obviously, he's only been in the Championship for half a season. It takes people time to adjust.
Yeah, I guess.
But when he joined, like from an outside perspective, I kind of hoped for a little bit more because I heard so much about how good he was. Yeah. And every time I've seen him play, he's let me down a little bit. And I think Sunderland today, all credit to them. You know, they deserve to go through. They defended well. I guess that was the game plan in the first game. It was the game plan today, and it worked both times. They end up going through to Wembley. But how do you think they'll do against Sheffield United? It's
playoffs, innit? And you can't take form into it because, I mean, Sunderland have just won. They've just won the tie, haven't they? I mean, Sheffield United struggled towards the end of the season as well. And I think the thing is with Sheffield United is they've been frustrated by teams that are good defensively. And I think a team like Coventry might have gone at them a little bit more, and they might have been able to find space a bit easier. But with how Sunderland have set up against Coventry, it kind of shows to me that they'll make it really difficult for Sheffield United to break them down. And they have been frustrated a good few times this season, Chef. But they've got star quality, and you see it against Bristol. So just any kind of lapse in concentration could potentially be punished by your players like Harmer and stuff like that. It's just it'll be a really interesting game.
Yeah, I think it's a difficult one to predict, as you say. For me, I look at what Sheffield have just done against Bristol, and I know Sunderland are higher in the league than Bristol, and up to the last 5, 6, 7 games of the season, they were much better than them. But I just think Sheffield are going to be coming into it with so much confidence. Obviously, Sunderland will be on a high, but I think after the fixtures they've just played, the players might kind of know that they weren't on the top of the game for the entire fixture. Not that matters, they're in the final. But I just can't see Sheffield United not coming and putting in a mega performance at Wembley. But then their playoff record is atrocious. They've never won the playoffs.
Never, but then again, that's there to be broken, isn't it? But the sign of a good team is a team that cannot be completely at it and still get over the line, and that's what Sunderland have done today. They've had to show a little bit of steel, a little bit of grit to get through it. So they've faced adversity across these two ties, these two fixtures, let's say, and they've managed to come out on the other side. Whereas realistically, it was pretty much plain sailing for Sheffield United ever since Bristol got that red card in the first time.
Well, that's it. Playoff final soon. I'm excited, man. I love it. It's so when we're not a part of it.
It's so nice, isn't it?
It's so good. But yeah, come back to the channel, hit like and subscribe. I will be doing a reaction to the playoff final once that has taken place. Commiserations to Coventry today.
Yeah.
Lampard can suck one. I'm happy that he's out of it. But Coventry were the better team. So unlucky. Sunderland, happy you're through. Would be happy if you went up. Would love an away day at the stadium. I like.
Absolutely.
See you again soon.
Peace.